Yes, this is crazy, I know. Hi, my name is Yulia, and today I want to share with you some of my discoveries after watching the trailer for Leos Carax and Sparks musical movie Annette. Annette will open this year's Cannes Film Festival on July 6, about 2 months from now. And right after that it will be released in Europe. I haven't seen the movie yet, so everything I say is based on the trailer. I'm going to highlight some interesting details I've noticed. Taking a look into my own magic mirror on the wall, I will make some predictions and deductions about the cinematic style of the film. So let's get started.
1, 2, 3, 4.
From the movie description and IMDb cast info, we know that Adam Driver's character name is Henry McHenry, and he is a provocative stand-up comic. Marion Cotillard plays Anne Dufresnoy, a world-renowned opera singer. They play a couple who are having a baby, and later at some point they discover their daughter Annette has an extraordinary gift. If you are familiar with the cinematic language, this trailer will tell you a lot, through its colors, symbols, art quotes and hero archetypes. I study cinematography and filmmaking, and for me these elements are great tools to tell a more impactful story. While watching the trailer for the first time, I was immediately captivated by the magical atmosphere presented through the cinematography. Walking through the forest, a red-haired girl, a howling wolf, I thought, are we in some magical fairy tale? Maybe it is a modern version of Little Red Riding Hood. Then I spotted one particular shot, and I got that we are in fact in one of Grimm's fairy tales. But rather than Little Red Riding Hood, it is a story of Snow White. With this idea in mind, I rewatched the trailer multiple times and noticed even more interesting details. Let's start from the beginning. The first trailer scene is a reflected version of Disney's 1937 Snow White final scene. We are in the middle of our hero's happily ever after chapter. In both scenes there are follow shots, and we see a couple walking through a forest, side by side to the horizon. Both male characters are wearing red, and female characters are wearing a significant Snow White look, a blue top and a yellow skirt. Just like a true fairy tale prince, Henry has his iron horse, and Anne is enjoying her success, surrounded by an admiring crowd of fans. Our heroes live in an enchanted forest house, drowning in greenery. We see trees, bushes, flamingos and elephants. Quite a jungle. And of course, just like all of our favorite fairy tales, we have our true love's kiss. In the original story, the prince awakens Snow White from her enchanted sleep with a kiss. Let's compare. Here in both scenes, we see the prince arriving on a horse to his princess. Then we see our princesses, both in lights and with beautiful bouquets from their fans. And we're approaching the climax. The lid of Snow White's glass coffin and the visor of Henry's helmet are being lifted up, so that they may have a true love's kiss. In the trailer there is one scene with a real location, but a coincidence, the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles. And here we have the announcement of a fictional Russian opera, Savinkov's The Forest. In the opera scenes, we see Anne walking through a haunted forest, and we see ghosts all around her. Just like Snow White, who runs through the woods full of fearsome monsters to hide from the evil chasing her. Then we are shown some scenes starring Henry and his dark side. We see him with sharp objects, as if he's doing some evil scenes behind Anne's back. And oh, he smokes in a no-smoking zone. This guy is a true villain. And the green hooded robe he wears on stage reminds me of the All Hacks robe from the fairy tale. So they want us to think that he's a bad guy, but maybe it is a false trail and everything is not what it seems here. We know that Henry is a stand-up comedian. I suppose this role is based on a jester or a simpleton archetype, rather than a villain. He may do some unintentional bad things because of his foolishness. I imagine him as a tragic figure who suffers the consequences of his misdeeds, no less than the people who he's hurt. Let's get back to this key scene. Here we have many features from our fairy tale. A beaten apple, a magic mirror in a carved frame, and this glass looks exactly like the Evil Queen's glass, with a crystal ball and a dark purple stem. And who is looking into the mirror here? It is Anne, not Henry. You can also notice that her headpiece is very similar to the one that the Wicked Queen has. So, maybe Anne will be the true evil mastermind in this story. In the Snow White fairy tale, there is a lovely little princess and her vain stepmother, the queen, who is the fairest one of all. As the princess grows older and surpasses her in beauty, the queen decides to get rid of Snow White. By analogy, we can assume where our story may go, but there are so many possible ways. Right now, I'm of the opinion that Annette's plot is not connected with this fairy tale directly, but Snow White was a significant visual reference, and we will see its illusions many times throughout the movie. I want to mention the green color and how it works in two opposite ways representing the contrary forces. On one side we have this natural green shade, a color of earth, life, creation, harmony, and a symbol of the Garden of Eden. On the other side we have this artificial bright green shade. It is a toxic and dangerous color associated with the forces of evil, with enviness, temptation, poisoning, drunkenness, madness and death. In the fairy tale, the evil queen uses green magic potions twice. At first, she makes a potion to disguise herself as an old hag. And then she uses her green cauldron to cook a poisoned apple for Snow White. So, what do you think? Who will go mad and who will be intoxicated? Place your bets. There is no floating on the waves in Snow White, but there are some chemical and alchemical reactions, as well as rain, thunder and lightning in the Evil Queen chase scene that ends with an accidental fatal fall off the cliff. I've used the chase scene as possible inspiration for the storm, since the moods are very similar. So something fatal may also happen to one of our heroes while at sea. You can find many symbols both in Disney's movie and in the original fairy tale behind it. There are a lot of hidden religious symbols: temptation, eating the forbidden fruit, death and resurrection. And of course there are the 7 dwarfs. I'm wondering if we will see them in the upcoming movie in some way. Maybe there will be a 7-member band. And of course we have Annette, the miracle baby and our little princess. On IMDb there is no information about her and there is no actress playing this role. I assume that in the movie she may stay out of focus for us and they used puppets or CGI to create her performance. Maybe Annette will be our Snow White princess in this movie. What do you think? So this is it. I'm so impressed and just can't wait to see what all these amazing talented artists have created together. Adam Driver as Henry, the tragic jester. Marion Cotillard as Anne, an opera queen. Simon Helberg as a conductor. Leos Carax, the director, and it is his first film in 9 years after The Holy Motors and his English language debut. Ron and Russell Mael, known as Sparks, are standing behind the idea of this movie. Together they wrote a script, composed music and original songs for Annette, and we also will see them in some roles on screen. Oh, I couldn't skip this name, cinematography by Caroline Champetier. While she's not mentioned in the trailer, I think her brilliant cinematography deserves credit. Let me know what you think of my reasoning. Am Am I following the right trail or am I lost in the woods with my ideas? After everything said before, I don't know for sure what is going on in this movie. Maybe Annette was inspired by the story of Snow White, or I can be completely wrong in my guesses and all I've said is just my crazy artist's imagination. Well, let it be. Thank you for watching. Maybe I will inspire you on the eve of your Annette movie experience to watch or rewatch the Walt Disney Snow White and the making of Snow White with some unique documentary pieces. If you also noticed something interesting in the Annette trailer, share your thoughts in the comments below. Goodbye!